What if 50 Spartans fought against 100 Vikings? Who would win? Imagine, 480 BC meets 850 AD, a gap of 13 centuries. Technologies have changed, metal has become harder, gods have become different, but the essence of war remains the same. From one side of the valley, they emerge from the morning mist. 50 men. Bronze cuirasses gleam dully in the humid air. Red cloaks, saturated with the dust of Greek roads. These are Spartan hoplites, the elite of the ancient world. Men taught from childhood that death in battle is the highest honor, and retreat is the worst shame. They walk silently, in perfect step, and the earth shudders from their synchronized march. They have no fear, only discipline. From the opposite side, tearing the silence with guttural screams, appears another force, 100 stern warriors of the north, Vikings. They are larger, their beards braided, and the rage of berserkers burns in their eyes. They do not march, they flow like an avalanche. They are led by Jarl Halfdan, a giant whose name is whispered from Britain to the shores of France. He knows that strength lies not only in muscle, but in cunning. Before the first blood is spilled, let's look at what they intend to kill with. This is a clash of two philosophies of war. Look at the Spartans. They resemble living statues. The foundation of their strength is the aspis. It is a heavy, nearly 10-kilogram disc of wood covered in bronze. It is attached to the forearm and covers the warrior from neck to knees, but its main task is to protect the comrade to the left. In their hands is the dory, a 2-meter spear. If it breaks, the xiphos comes into play, a short sword hanging under the left arm. Their faces are hidden within Corinthian helmets, turning men into faceless machines. But these helmets have a fatal flaw. Hearing is almost impossible, and vision is limited. A Spartan sees only the enemy directly in front of him. Opposite them are the technologies of the future, tempered in the cold. The Vikings are dressed more simply, but their weapons are superior. The North's main argument is the Dane axe, broadaxe, on a long handle. The center of gravity is shifted to the blade, allowing for blows of monstrous force. You don't block such a strike, it simply splits shields. They saw each other. Halfdan, squinting, assessed the thin golden line of the enemy. "Only 50, he smirked. The Jarl raised his axe and 100 throats roared, calling upon Odin. The Vikings rushed into the attack. The Spartan commander, the strategist Diocles, raised his hand. The shields closed. The phalanx froze, presenting a forest of spears. The collision was terrible. The Vikings crashed into the formation at full speed, but instead of simply striking the shields, they applied their cunning. The Northmen began to use their axes as hooks. The iron beards of their broadaxes caught the edges of the Spartan shields, and the Vikings, with a roar, ripped them towards themselves. This tactic proved fatal for the Greeks. Shields were torn from hands along with their fastenings. Spartans were pulled out of the formation one by one, thrown under the feet of the advancing horde. The monolithic wall cracked, the formation crumbled, the battle turned into a chaos of individual duels, and here the advantage was entirely on the side of the Vikings. There were twice as many of them. 2, sometimes 3 Northmen attacked each Spartan. In the tight quarters, deprived of their comrades' protection, the Spartans began to die. The long swords and axes of the Vikings, their physical mass and rage, crushed the Greeks. Bronze buckled under the blows of steel. The valley was filling with bodies in red cloaks. Jarl Halfdan, laughing, hacked his way through the ranks of enemies. He felt the taste of victory. His gaze picked out the Spartan commander. Diocles was fighting in the center of the slaughter, surrounded by enemies, having already lost his spear, with a short sword in his hand. "Your gods are dead, Southerner!" Halfdan growled and lunged at him. A void formed around them. The battle froze for a second. It was a fight between David and Goliath. Halfdan was huge and fast. He unleashed a torrent of blows upon Diocles. The Spartan went into deep defense, his shield cracking, his helmet knocked askew. The Vikings roared, supporting their leader. Halfdan, seeing the enemy cornered, decided to end it all with one terrible blow. He raised his sword with both hands for a vertical strike, opening his torso, putting all his triumph into the swing. It was a mistake. Spartans are not taught rage. With his left hand, he slammed the edge of his shield straight into the Jarl's throat, shattering his breathing. And with his right hand, in a short, economical motion from the bottom up, he drove his sword under the giant's ribs, straight into the heart. Halfdan's eyes went wide. The sword fell from his hands. The great Jarl collapsed to his knees and then face down into the mud. The Vikings froze in shock. Their leader, the invincible symbol of their strength, was dead. Their confidence wavered. Diocles tore the sword from the enemy's body, raised it above his head, and straining his voice, screamed the command, "Spartans, form a single fist!" The remaining Spartans, wounded, exhausted, saw the triumph of their commander. A second wind awoke within them. They rushed toward each other, stepping over the corpses of friends and foes, locking shields once more. The Vikings hesitated. They still outnumbered the Greeks, but they had lost their spirit. They attacked disjointedly, each man for himself, trying to avenge the Jarl. But before them were no longer solitary warriors. Before them, once again, was the wall. "Othismos!" shouted Diocles. The 25 surviving Spartans simultaneously struck with their shields, taking a step forward. The unified blow toppled the front rows of the Vikings. In the tight crush, the Vikings' long axes hindered them, while the Spartans stabbed from behind their shields, into the groin, the throat, the legs, precise, coordinated, without emotion. One by one, the sons of the north fell onto the cold ground, never managing to break the restored formation. When the last Viking fell, the sun still did not come out. The valley was piled with bodies. Diocles took off his helmet and leaned heavily on his battered shield. Only 20 men stood around him. Out of 50, 20 remained. Their cloaks had turned to rags, armor was dented into their bodies, blood flooded their eyes. They won not because they were physically stronger or their weapons were better. The Spartans won because when everything collapsed, they were able to become a single whole again. Where a Viking fought for his own glory, a Spartan fought for the man standing next to him. On this day, in the Valley of Silence, tactics and brotherhood triumphed over numbers and rage. The survivors silently picked up their fallen brothers and, forming a thinned column, slowly moved into the fog, leaving behind the field of a great battle that never happened, but about which legends will be told. Who do you think would win? Let me know in the comments. Also, what battle would you like to see next?